and everything. She's supposed to see it all. If he didn't agree for what you bought to him, he didn't hear you. You understand? He didn't hear you. Now, so read the second line again.
If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
Now, if you offended and rightfully offended and go to him and he hear you say, you know what, you're right. I'm Jeremiah. You're right. I'm Slakia. Hey, forgive me, brother. You know what I'm saying? It's a rough day. We trying to get these schools and we running. And I halfway heard what you were saying. So whatever I said to you, I hardly remember. But if I said that to you, I was totally wrong, brother. Forgive me. You know what I mean? Forgive me. You understand? Now, I didn't hurt him. I didn't agree with his complaint. And now we brothers fighting for this throne again. But anything else, you going to walk away. You're going to say, Adawan was right. He can check me in front of my woman. This the UPK. But it ain't sitting right in you. It still ain't sitting right in you. You understand? It's a cancer. You understand? And 2 years later, he going to do something similar to somebody else, and you going to pop. Man, he always do this, man. He did it to me, but back in the day when we was something. And it's going to be a mess, man. And we don't need that in here. Get to the Muhammad, huh?
What time we got?
How much time we got, Akin? What time is it?
When you going to tour?
18, sir.
I was just going over some Brotherhood protocol.
So,
18.
okay, so what, man?
18, gentlemen.
Oh, son Christ, clap it up for General Mayak. You know how it's got us down here. All right. Aki Magwafian questions. Not grabbing my phone, I get my topic, all right? Also, to celebrate the fact that I'm in H-Town, I'll have a drink. I appreciate it. Throughout, you know, it's appropriate time for it. Okay. Okay, this is where I want to start.
If I could,
Go ahead, Warren.
the general was bringing out about, going to a brother, him and him alone and all of that. Not murmuring and whatnot. I want to see if we can get a breakdown on Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 10 and 11.
Okay, let's go. Do we answer questions online in here on Fridays? You got Facebook questions? So let me know, all right? Give me the scripture you want it broke down, please.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 10. For the ear of jealousy heareth all things, and the noise of murmurings is not hid.
Keep the noise down, Akim, all right? Aquafia. Everyone get ready to have a seat, all right? Let's get it on. I don't have a lot of time. Read it one more time.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 10. For the ear of jealousy heareth all things.
Who wants to break it down? The ear of jealousy heareth all things, meaning what?
Is it saying a jealous person always looking for that, always looking for some gossip?
What's the topic?
The topic.
Gossip. Gossip is the topic, right? The ear of jealousy heareth all things, meaning heareth everything.
Right.
When someone is jealous, they are looking for information to use against the people they're jealous of. They're hungry for information. I appreciate that. They're hungry for information. The ear of the jealous heareth all things. They're listening for information that they can use against the person that they're jealous of. Most sisters know that, all right? That's a woman's whole goddamn life.
Right.
It's going on Facebook. Somebody kill this for me. He's a little too strong for me, all right? Going on Facebook and having 1,000 people that are jealous of them, and then she jealous of 1,000 other goddamn people, and they are itching to hear information about one another so that they can gossip about one another. You understand, right? Be careful with that. You know that's right. I have to be careful with that, all right? Go ahead. I'll keep going.
And the noise of murmurings is not hid.
The noise of murmurings is not hid, meaning what? Break it down.
Meaning everything that someone says that they think they're saying to someone else in secret, eventually it'll come out.
That's correct. It's going to come out. It always comes out. Go ahead.
Therefore, beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting.
What? Come on. Why should you be aware of a murmuring? Because it's. Please, where's that? All right. Therefore, beware of murmuring. Why? Because your murmuring is going to get found out. Every little private thing you say and all your little private Facebook groups and especially women. Women cannot be loyal to one another, especially to evil women.
Right.
They think they're going to be so loyal to each other with the secret groups that no one is supposed to know about, that they would never tell each other about. Because we don't want the men coming in this group and messing us up. This is the group that we're allowed to do what in? What this group that we have that's secret for women is the group that we're allowed to do what in? That's not what they call it. This is the group we're allowed to do what in, Captain? Vent. Vent. They love that word, vent. Vent. This is where we're allowed to come and vent. And there are no men here, so no man knows about it. And this is where sisters can just come and vent. And of course, at the end of it, the sisters get off of the Facebook and go tell everybody. They tell everyone, they tell their husbands for damn sure. As soon as it's over, the sisters walk out of there and each one of them says, I'm not going to tell my husband. And each one of them hangs up and tells their husband. Why? Because she's a man's wife. She ain't keeping a goddamn thing from him. She's telling him all of your business because that's her husband. Right. So all of your private business, she's telling her husband. And of course, her husband will listen and listen and listen until he hears something that's too foul. And then, of course, he'll tell the sister's husband about it. This is something that everybody knows, all right? If that was the point of the question. Was that the point or not?
That was the point.
You good to go here from here? Anything else?
I'm good to go, sir.
Anything off the topic in the back?
I had a question about the scripture.
Go ahead.
In the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
What's your question?
When we're breaking this scripture down, we're referring to the white man covering the faces of the
Yes, we are.
Now, I know the scriptures are twofold. So
some scriptures. Some.
You know, in the time of Job was before the flood, right?
Right.
So who was he talking about? Was the prophecy for them, or was it happening then?
Let's read it now. Let's read it from when you say twofold. I'm assuming you mean what it applied to the brother at the time in the past, and what it applies to today, because the Bible is a living book. It's alive, spoken by prophets. The spirit of the prophets being subject to the prophets, and those prophecies apply to you today. Even though some brother was talking about his life in the past, what he was going through in the past, it still applies to you because you are those people from the past. You get my point. So now let's take it back to Job. Warrior, right here. What's your question now? Nice and loud, please.
Job was before flood. Would he be considered Adamite?
Mm-hmm. To be specific, Job was before Jacob.
Right.
He was before Israel. Do you understand? He would be an Adamite. All right? Let's go. Read it again. I'll break it down to you from Job's perspective.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Mm-hmm. He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
So from Job's perspective, right? The earth is ruled by the wicked, by evil people, right? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Meaning what? That the judges at the time, no one knows who they are because the wicked has their faces covered. You see the manifold meaning, if you're back at that time and now you're living in an evil world, like Job believed he was living in an evil world.
If I could you use Job chapter 1 and verse 9 where Satan said he was scouring the earth, well, he was going to the earth doing folk couldn't find nobody because everybody had to be wicked. What am I stretching?
That's correct. No, you're not stretching it so much. Job, what you want to say is that Job was the most righteous man on earth at that time, in the eyes of the Most High. So as Job is going through the horrible situation he went through, he is thinking about it and realizing that this is an evil place.
Right.
Why? He just lost his children. He lost all his goods. His wife turned against him. He's realizing that this is an evil place. And the people who would give you justice, you don't know where they are. They can't be found. You get my point? So now, of course, you take that same scripture, you bring it to today. This is an evil world.
Right.
And the people who would give us justice, we don't know who they are.
Right.
Because we're looking for Peter, James, John, Mark, Luke, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Ezekiel, and we can't find them. All we find is white people. You understand? For real authority figures, real heroes, if you're a child or someone outside of the school, you cannot find them. You can't look to the past or history books, or let alone God's word, the Bible, and find a hero. Because when you go to read the Bible, you think that all of the people in there look nothing like you. You get my point? Anything else? Right here.
With the 12 tribes breakdown, might be a precept from Judah, Levi, and Simeon.
Quickly. Go to Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 33. Let's start with Judah. Got a full bar in here, huh, Mike? I see some drinking happens in this school. This is the drinking school. Get used to the hand. Look at Soccer War like he already work at the bar. he find the bar wherever he go and set up there. It's like that's where he belongs. Get Soccer War. I mean, look at him. He just belongs in the club. That's his home. We need to get a club, Mayak, for Soccer War to run. Soccer War could run a club for General YAHANNA. Give Soccer War a hand. He seemed up to the task. Go ahead. Let's read the scripture. Where we at?
Genesis 49, verse 23. The archers have sorely grieved him.
No, that's not what you want. You want me to break down Judah from the 12 tribes, right? Do you want this scripture for some reason, or did I ask for it? Now give me Genesis the 49th chapter, right? Where's the 12 tribes breakdown?
49th chapter, sir.
Yeah, give me Genesis 49 and verse 9. We'll start there. Go ahead.
Genesis 49, verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey.
Break it down. Judah is a lion's whelp. What is a lion's whelp? Captain Gahan. What should everyone have done first? You should have looked it up, right? You're going to always look up words. You got to have a Zondervan Bible dictionary and a Webster's dictionary, right? A lion's whelp is a young lion. That's what a lion's whelp is. A whelp is a cub, right? Judah is a young lion. Keep going. As you know, that's the symbol for the tribe of Judah, a lion. Go ahead.
My son, thou art gone up.
Judah is a young lion. Go ahead.
He stooped down.
I'm sorry, Khan. No sweat. Start at verse 8. Go ahead.
So, Genesis 49, verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
Stop right there. Judah, thou art he whom his brethren shall praise. What is that talking about? In the back. He's going to be Judah is the head tribe. The head tribe. Why is he the head tribe? Because the king comes out of the tribe of Judah, right? Christ is from the tribe of Judah. And so Judah has taken the seat of the eldest son amongst the 12 sons. You get the point? Which is what this whole thing is about. The entire nation of Israel is a family. Just think of the entire family dynamic of father, mothers, daughters, brothers. It's a family that grew and grew and grew and grew, right? Judah was one of those 12 brothers. Now, out of every group of brothers, you're going to have a leader of the brothers, an eldest brother, right? At first, the eldest brother was who? Reuben. But Reuben slept with his father's woman, and he lost that seat of being the big brother. And then Judah stepped up and became the big brother. The Most High solidified it by allowing Christ to be born from the tribe of Judah. All right, Judah is the head tribe. Give me my precept in Psalms about Judah being the head tribe. This is Psalm 79. Judah, what does it say, Mayak? No, not that. That's around here. Now, there's another one in the Psalms. He's exalted above his brethren. I believe it's in the book of Psalms, all right? That's the precept proving that Judah is the head tribe or the eldest brother, the big brother of the 12 tribes. Keep going.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemy.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. When you read Genesis 49 is speaking about the condition that the 12 tribes will be in the last days. It's the first verse. Read 49 and 1.
Genesis 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
Which shall be what?
Befall you.
What does it mean to befall you? Meaning this is going to happen to you. A lot of Genesis 49 is speaking about the condition that Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Issachar would be in. Kahan. Where is it at? Is that right, Bar? Where you at?
If he has, I got 1 Chronicles 5 and 2.
I think I'm talking about this one. Read yours, Kahan.
Psalms chapter 71, verse 1. In Judah, God is known. His name is great in Israel.
That's not it. It's one about his brothers. Exalted above his brothers or chosen above his brothers. All right. Please read it.
78, Psalms chapter 78, verse 68. But chose the tribe of Judah,
That's it.
the Mount Zion, which he loved. And he built his sanctuary in high places like the earth, which he hath established forever.
That's it. Correct. All right. Keep going. So now we go ahead.
If I could, the scripture that I got, can I read this, see if it's
Please.
compared with that? 1 Chronicles chapter 5 and 2. For Judah prevailed above his brethren.
So that's the one. That's a precept, Kahan. That's solid. If I only had time for one, though, I would go to this one. Where is it at?
1 Chronicles 5 and 2.
1 Chronicles 5 and 2. Read it.
For Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler.
That's your precept for Judah being the head of the 12 tribes or the big brother of the 12 tribes. All right. The Most High chose him to have the seat of the eldest brother, abdicated by Reuben, Rawbone, or the stallion that the Bible speaks about, and he gave it to the lion, the tribe of Judah. All right. Let's go. Same brother who was reading.
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
You get that, right? Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. That's the precept that Captain DeBar just read. Judah is the head tribe, the eldest brother. Keep going.
Verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp.
A lion's whelp. What is a lion's whelp? Same brother is reading.
Young lion.
A young lion. That was a test to see if you were paying attention. Correct. Good job. Keep going.
From the prey, my son, thou art gone up.
Listen carefully. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. What is prey? Prey is what a lion kills and eats, right?
Right.
From the prey, he has gone up. He's gone up from the prey, meaning this young lion does not want to kill. This young lion does not want to hunt. Keep going. From the prey, my son. Go ahead.
Thou art gone up. Stoop down.
Thou hast stooped down. Stooping down is like crouching down. Like getting down. You've seen a lion before they get down real low in the grass, right? Before they kill. The difference is when it comes to the tribe of Judah, he stoops down like what? Read.
He couched as a lion.
He couched as a lion. That's couching, that position of getting low down in the ground so you can pounce on the prey. He crouches as a lion. Go ahead.
And as an old lion.
And as a what lion?
As an old
And as an old lion. Judah is young. Judah has the ability to overthrow his oppressor.
Right.
The tribe of Judah sits close to his oppressor and always has in Egypt, has in Babylon, has all throughout Europe and all throughout America. The tribe of Judah has always had the ability to overcome his oppressor, but he has no strength to do it. Though he's young, he's old. You understand? He's weak. He doesn't have the will. He doesn't have the strength. He has the ability because he's young, but he just does not have the energy that it would take to overcome his oppressor. He's like an old lion. And everyone black who grew up black knows this. When you look at black people and you look at them and you think just one day my people will do this. One day my people will do that. And every year, year by year, you see them just getting weaker and weaker and becoming more and more of the perfect slave.
Right.
Captain Kahan.
That's heavy because it's like you said, having the will, having the strength to fight and the will to fight is two different things.
Oh, that's a whole different thing. They have the ability. My God, they the generals of America and the pilots and the governors and the senators and the mayors and the police chiefs. They're everything. But they do not have the will to overcome oppression.
Right.
They just don't have it. Keep going.
Who shall rouse him up?
Read that again.
Who shall rouse him up?
Read it again.
Who shall rouse him up?
Read it again.
Who shall rouse him up?
He's old. He has the strength of a young lion, but he gets down like an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? Who shall rouse him up? Who's the who? I'm asking you a question. Who shall rouse up the tribe of Judah? Captain Kahan. Sis, she can answer. Go ahead. What's your answer? Okay, no problem. Aria. Give him a hand. Christ. Christ is who will rouse up the tribe of Judah. He's going to wake him up. He's going to get up out of that slumber he's in and go and become a lion. You get the point now, right?
Right.
Any more? Okay, we'll move off of Judah right now. Let's go to Levi. You know where to go? It's in Genesis 49 also. You can go to Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 33. Genesis 49 is about the condition in the last days. It has a lot to do with their curses, like this particular verse. Judah is a young lion, but he crouches like an old lion. Who's going to raise him up? It's a curse. It's not something that's positive about us. You get my point when I say us, I mean the tribe of Judah, right? Deuteronomy 33 is speaking about the blessing that each tribe has. So you'll read Genesis 49. It will in essence speak about a curse that will befall each tribe in the last days. Deuteronomy 33 will speak about a blessing that is given to each tribe. You get my point, all right? Now let's go to the one you wanted to do, Levi. Levi, the Urim and the Thummim. Urim and the Thummim are the two dice that Moses would sit in his breastplate and pull out to make decisions with when there was no other way to make a decision. When it was an either or, he'd go into his breastplate and pull out two dice and he would roll. And that's how he would decide. They were called Urim and Thummim, right? Like two dice. Come on.
Flipping the coin, right? Like, would you be wrong to flip a coin and try to do a decision like that?
Okay, you're not wrong to flip a coin. It's not our culture to flip a coin. Flipping a coin comes from the Greeks. The Greeks, that coin was to pay some cat named, look his name up. He was the boatman that took the dead bodies over the river Styx. And coins are about him. Come on. Right. Well, no, that's not the cat's name, but you could end up in Hades. All of this is, of course, a myth and a lie, right? But it comes from Greek myth. Come on.
We're talking about purgatory and all that. The levels of
Not purgatory. Just think the river Styx, the boatman. The boatman of the river Styx. Everybody can look it up on their phone. You got them in your pockets. Go ahead.
Was that a common practice among priests?
Yes, it's an Israelite practice to cast lots. The term casting lots is an Israelite practice to make decisions. Precept. Someone else. You. Give him a hand. That wasn't easy, Soccer War. Let somebody young answer the question. Soccer War, he went all the liquor and all the questions. And all the women. But you get the point. Yes, that's correct. Judas betrayed Christ, left the truth, right? And then they had to pick a replacement, right, for his seat on the 12, right? They went and got the two best candidates, Mattathias, and I forget the other cat's name. They were both seasoned, both could do the job. Both of them were even in their skill and ability and in their virtue of having that job. And then Peter rolled dice. The first number was Mattathias' number. The second number was the other brother's number. Then he rolled again and again. And whosever number it fell on got the seat of that was betrayed by Judas. It was Mattathias. It fell on Mattathias' number. Come on.
I was reading in John 6th chapter.
Go ahead.
So Christ already knew that Judah was going to betray him.
Mm-hmm.
So he also said that in verse 65,
How did he know?
How did he know?
Yeah. You said he knew, right? So how did he know? How did you know he knew? What did you read? What did it say?
It said that he was one of the 12 who were going to.
It says more than that.
In verse 7 in John chapter 6, it says, Jesus answered, have I not, Jesus answered them, have not I chosen you 12, and one of you is a devil?
Mm-hmm. Before that, though, when did Christ know that Judas was going to betray him? For time's sake, I might have to give it to you. It was when Judas interfered and was angry that sister used that expensive oil to anoint Christ's feet with. And Judas objected because he was over the treasury and he was a thief. And he wanted that money for himself. And he behaved as if this sister was wasting this money on Christ because they could use this money to help the poor. But Christ read it in him and saw it in him and knew from that day that Judas was a traitor and was going to leave the truth. Why am I asking this question? He knew based on what Judas said and did. And that's important when you read the Bible. You want to knock off all of the spooky nonsense.
Right.
Judas is talking. Things he says it is not one West.
Right.
You understand? He hears something in him like, this cat is not always one West.
Right.
This kid ain't magic. It's listening. You get my point? It's having a firm knowledge of your culture and who you are and what's righteous, and then hearing something that is not that. And then you know him or her. You get my point. Come on.
So if I'm teaching this, can I use the precept? Can I precept this with noting that labor among you?
You can. All right, go. Levi, right? You have something out?
I have a separate question, sir. So we
Okay, let me hurry up with Levi. Come on.
49:5.
Go.
Genesis 49 verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Simeon and Levi are brothers.
Simeon and Levi are brothers, right? Simeon is the tribe of the Dominicans, the battle axe. That's their symbol, the battle axe. They are brothers. Now, all of the 12 tribes are brothers. So why is the Most High being specific, saying that Simeon and Levi are brothers? Because they have a closeness that the other tribes don't. They are closer together than the other tribes are. They were like that when there was the two of them, when they were rolling together, and they're like that today. Why? Because Simeon and Levi share an island. One half of the island is Haiti. The other half of the island is the Dominican Republic. If you had a map, I'd show you. Get a world map. And you can see that island that's split right down the middle. One half is Haiti, and the other half is the Dominican Republic. They're close together. They're close. They were always close. Keep going.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation.
Here's the problem. When they come together, they are cruel. The Lord is referring back to a time when one of Jacob's daughters was raped by a Hamite, a so-called African today, right? And Jacob went to the leader of the Hamites to get justice, and he worked out a deal for justice, but it wasn't good enough for Simeon and Levi. Simeon and Levi went to the Hamites and said, listen, you raped my daughter, you raped my sister, now we got all of you got to come into the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they said, okay, fine. Because the Hamites knew they were wrong and they were trying to work with Israel. Now, at this time, Israel, meaning the man Israel and his family, they were in perilous times amongst these heathens. And yet and still, Jacob worked out a way to have justice for his daughter and safety for his family. Simeon and Levi had another plan. They went and told these Hamites that they had to be circumcised so they could come into the covenant of Abraham and of the covenant of Abraham. Once they were circumcised, while they were convalescing upon their beds, they went into the tent and killed every last one of them, 90 of them. Right? They killed them all. And in doing that, tore down a wall. You get my point? Their father had a deal of peace with these people. And now the family was in danger because of their self-will. You get my point? And he punished them and he divided them. Why am I bringing this up? Because on that island, I believe it used to be called Espanol. That's Hispaniola, right? The island together. On that island, they are divided. On that island. They hate each other. I mean, they've had horrible wars against one another. The Dominicans and the Haitians, the dice and the battle axe, they fought each other, brother, and killed millions of one another on that island, Captain Kahan. It carries wherever they at, wherever they live at. It's in the Bronx. So I was in the Bronx for a year, every day, hearing about this beef with the Dominicans and the Haitians all the time, and the beef between Issachar and Zebulon, who also can't stand each other. But nothing is worse than the beef between Dominicans and Haitians. They hate each other. Come on.
So is that a curse?
Yes, that's what this whole Genesis 49 is about. I said that earlier. It's a curse. Come on.
So when they killed all them Hamites, were they a tribe? Were they a big tribe at that time, or was it just them two who went and did that?
You mean, did they have like men who worked for them? The Bible doesn't specify that, but you can assume that.
Right.
Because of course Jacob was a powerful man.
Right.
And his sons were powerful, so they would have had men that could go into the tent and kill 90 people. Not just them stabbing 90 people.
Right.
They could have had the men who worked for them, who worked for their father, to go in and kill everyone that was in the bed at that time. Go ahead.
Will these be the next two oldest brothers after Reuben?
I can't recall. You can look that up though, to see who was the age of all the 12 tribes. I know Benjamin was the youngest, Reuben was the oldest, but that's all I can remember. Our 12 tribes chart might be the order that's in, but I can't recall. Is that right?
I think that's correct.
Could be right.
They lost because it is.
Correct. Go ahead.
So, what was the punishment that Judah received for selling Joseph?
Okay, let me try to remember. I cannot recall. I can ask Commander General YAHANNA. I just can't recall on the top of my head what punishment he received. You know, I don't believe he received any because I believe they found out in Egypt.
Right.
They found that Jacob didn't know that Judah sold. Was who did he sell? Joseph, right? Jacob did not know that Judah sold Joseph into slavery until he was starving to death at the door of Egypt begging for food. So he received no punishment. And after that, he was in Egypt getting fed and thanking the Lord that his son was alive. Judah received no punishment at all to my memory, all right? But I can ask Commander General YAHANNA, young brother right here.
Sorry, sir. I'm not mistaken. There was actually all the brothers trying to kill him, but Judah was the only one that said, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites.
Yeah, they hated him so much out of jealousy because he was the baby and their father loved him the most. And they wanted to kill him, and Judah sold him into slavery. Judah was the ringleader at that time of all that wickedness, as he always is. Go ahead.
And then also Joseph forgave them all for doing it.
Joseph forgave them all. You jogging my memory more. All right, good to go? Come on.
Lucky, sir. My question is.
Also, I got one more. We good with Levi or not?
Well, I just want to know if 6 and 7 referring to them also.
Go ahead.
Verse 6 is, "Oh, my soul, come not down into their sin."
That, everything I just said, I was paraphrasing that. About how they killed the Hamite, they tore down the wall for their self-will. That's in there. That is definitely speaking about Levi and Simeon, all right? Levi, the Haitians and the Dominicans Let me get this brother right here. Go
Right,
ahead.
yes, sir.
Let me get Mayak. Go ahead.
And it comes down to that secret. It's going to how they had the secret plot against the Hamites, right?
That's correct. They had a secret plot. They didn't tell their father. Their father didn't know anything about it. They ambushed him with that. He found out when everybody was dead that his sons killed all these people, and now he had to deal with it, and it put him and their family in great danger. General Mayak.
And also another secret is talking about today also with that voodoo with Simeon and Levi, right?
That's correct. Simeon and Levi also today, on the left-hand side, they have a religion based on cruelty, which is voodoo. And voodoo is all about being cruel to your enemies. Voodoo has no purpose other than hating someone and finding a way to hurt that person secretly. That's it. That's what the doll is for, the candle, the burning the thing with their name on it, all of the other nonsense that the Dominicans do and that the Haitians do. Go ahead.
Like what they did to the French, that was just birds.
That was poison.
You know, like I think they defecated.
Yeah, they with diarrhea. They poisoned the French and the Dutch. They poisoned damn near everybody. Who else did they poison? The French, the Spanish, and I believe the Portuguese. Captain Sagawar.
Like, I had a question, a precept for Levi, and it's in the book of Malachi, the second chapter.
Go ahead.
The second chapter of Malachi is talking about basically how Levi didn't uphold what the Lord required of them being the priest of the nation. Now, I was going to punish them. I want to know, is it okay to include that in the breakdown of the 12 tribes in Genesis 49? Because it's really...
Let me hear it.
Malachi chapter 2, I started verse 1 2. It says, now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If you will not hear, and if you will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, saith the Most High of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessing. Yea, I have cursed them already, because you do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feasts, and one shall take you away with it. And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant. When I broke it down before, so I had broken down about how Levi today, among the 12 tribes, look down on you because of their condition today. You know, they fought back against the French. They did, you know, they revolted, but at the same time, they were destroyed.
Read that last part again.
Verse 4. Like verse 3, Malachi 2 and 3. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feasts, and one shall take you away with it. And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Most High of hosts.
Okay, that's not about the 12 tribes. That's about oppression, losing their seat because, of course, they betrayed their seat.
Right.
That's about that. It's not about the 12. It's not about the 12. It's not about what happened in Genesis 49. That's different. And of course, there is no tribe that is looked more down upon than Judah. You ever talked to a Levite before? My God, what do you think some Levite parent thinks when his son or daughter wants to date a so-called Negro from America? He'll look at you like, what? That lazy bastard?
Right.
We are hard-working people. I don't want my Haitian daughter dating you. There is no tribe that is looked down on more than Judah. Every other tribe has some form of dignity except for Judah. You get my point, right? You go.
My question is Revelation chapter 6, verse 10 and 11. Who are the souls under the throne?
Mm-hmm.
Revelation chapter 6, verse 10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Verse 11.
Who wants to break this down? This is a vision, right, in the book of Revelations, correct?
Sir.
Do I need to start here? Where should I start from? Tell them, please.
This book of Revelation,
chapter 6,
Verse 9.
verse 10,
Let's
sir.
start at 9, all right? Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 6, verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain.
Now imagine, let me just tell you where we are. Let me give you some context. Imagine this book, right? And this book has 7 belts, little tiny locks right here. When I say a lock, I mean like, imagine like a leather strap tied up right here. And this book is tied up in the back, Captain. Bring it up, Tawada. The Captain Carter's our hand all the way from New York. Tribe of Ephraim. The unicorn. This is a perfect example right here. That's it. Now imagine this with 7 of these on the book, right? 7 of these. Now John is having a vision. And he's seeing this book with 7 locks on the book. And John begins to cry because he understands what is inside this book. John is in prison and under horrible oppression. And the so-called white man at that time, calling himself a Roman and a Greek, has been destroying his people for John's entire life. And now he's in prison. And he has a vision about this book. And he knows what's in this book. What's in this book? What does John know is in this book?
Salakia, would it be the revelation of Christ?
Bring me home. Khan. I want a better word, but salvation is a good word, but I need a better word. The vocabulary.
Vengeance. A vengeance.
All those are good.
Truth, sir.
Justice. Today, that devil that killed that brother in Chicago, he was convicted. Get a Most High hand for convicting that devil. What was that poor brother's name? I didn't even know till today. You remember in Chicago, that brother, the brother was down the street, had a knife in his hand. He's dancing or something. Laquan McDonald. And this cop shot him 17 times, just standing over there about 30 feet from the cop. 17 times this cop shot this 17-year-old boy. I mean, 17, I don't know how old you are, but 17 is a child.
Right.
That's some mama's baby and some father's hope at 17 years old. And this cop shot him 16 times, killed him. And today, the video didn't come out for a year.
Right.
For 1 year, the city had the video. After Trayvon Martin and what happened in Baltimore, was it Baltimore? In St. Louis, with the riots, they released the video for fear of what the people might do if they found out they were holding the video. So the mayor of Chicago released the video a year later. After the release of the video, black people went nuts. They went to riot and marching in the streets and losing their mind, angry at the fact that their brother was murdered on tape, just like Trayvon Martin, just like the brother in St. Louis. And finally, today he was convicted, right? Come on.
If I may, so I don't mean to interrupt.
Please.
I got a call from Chicago today about the events that happened today. Mm-hmm. And they shut the whole city down. They were telling everybody to go leave their jobs, leave the downtown area.
Why?
Because it was at the brink of chaos.
So why? When did they shut it down?
They started shutting it down before the deliberation.
No, ain't that right? They began to shut the city down before the verdict came out.
Right.
Why?
In fear that it may.
Fear that the usual thing might happen. They assumed he was going to be not guilty because every cop is not guilty.
Right.
This is the first time a cop has been convicted in Chicago in 60 years. The first time. Get a Most High hand. Now, do you think that means that no cops commit any crimes in Chicago in the last 60 years? You know that's not true, right?
Right.
You see that feeling you all feel right now about this brother getting justice? That feeling of finally, they murder us and they kill us, and finally, at least one man didn't get away with it. John knew that was in here. You understand? He knew justice was in here. And he knew if this book could not be opened, we would never receive justice. Give me what I'm reading in Revelations 4 and 20, I believe. John wanted this book opened because without this book being opened, who you are is closed off to the world. And if who we are is closed off to the world, then justice that we deserve is closed off to the world.
That's right.
Right? You can't harm blacks and Hispanics because of who our Father is.
Right.
But that's in here. And if this is locked away, you can harm us. You cannot oppress us because we are the chosen people of God. And if you brutalize us, you will pay for it.
Right.
But that's in here. And this is locked up. So you can brutalize us because no one knows who we are. No one knows we're the chosen people of God. When they kill you, you know what they're killing? Some pimp. When they shoot you 16, when that cop shot that young brother 16 times, who was he shooting? Some young Chicago gangbanger. You can kill them. Some weed head, some drug addict, some deadbeat dad, some slut, some bitch, some hoe. You can kill them all day.
Right.
But who we really are is in here. And if this doesn't get open, they're going to kill us every day and never and never pay for it. Never. Let me tell you what John did when he saw no one could open the book. Who has what I'm looking for? It's in Revelations, the 4th chapter. No one prevailed to open the book. They searched the earth and under the earth and below the and above the earth, and no one could open the book. Give me that. It's in John 4. Hurry up. Any other questions off this topic? Good. You two up front. Come on. What's your question?
The question.
You got my precept yet?
Nah.
I'll find it.
4 and 11, sir.
Let me hear it.
Revelations 4, verse 11. Thou art worthy, O Lord.
Before that. 1 second.
Yeah, 5 and 9.
5, Salakia. Where is it at?
5 and 9.
Go to 5 and 9. Who wants to read? Let's go. Go.
Revelation chapter 5, verse 9.
Before I go on, who made the food? Raise your hand. Come on, give them a hand. They made the food. Get it on. The water, sisters. All right. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 5, verse 9. And he had opened the 5th seal.
Before that.
Before that?
When no one could open the book up. No one could open it. Give me the Lion of the tribe of Judah has prevailed to open the book. Then you're going to go above it 2 verses. Go.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 5, verse 4. And I wept much.
Read above it, 1 verse.
Verse 3. And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, were able to open the book.
There was a book, John, it had 7 seals on it. Captain Kadazaz has 1. He knows what's in here, and he's in prison. And he's seen his king be murdered and raised again to Wadi Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. And he's seen his school be hunted. He's seen his school, his beloved school, be hunted to ground.
Right.
He's seen his brothers have to flee. And now he himself is in jail. His brother James was killed by Herod. Killed. Now he's in prison. And what he wants is what any man wants when they've been brutalized. He wants justice, man.
That's right.
And that is so normal and so natural and so healthy. Justice is healthy, Ak. And it's unhealthy to not get justice. It's unhealthy to be abused, to be wronged, and for nothing to happen to your abuser. It is unhealthy for something like that to happen. He's been through that, and he's in this prison, and they've searched the entire earth, under the earth, above the earth, and no one was what? Read that verse again. No one was what?
No one was able to open the book.
No one could do it. No one could get the book open. Keep going.
Neither to look thereon.
No one could even look at what's inside the book. Keep going.
Verse 4. And I wept much.
What did John do?
Wept much.
What did John do?
Well, mud.
He cried because he understood. He cried a lot because he wanted justice, man.
Right.
He wanted when the cop murders him and murders his son and enslaves him and puts lead in the water for him to drink.
Right.
He wants to be a human being.
Right.
He wants justice. He wants it. And he cried when no one could open that book. Keep going.
Because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book.
Now you know why no one could open the book. It's not because they didn't have the secret key. It's because they weren't worthy to open this book. They weren't worthy. And that is the key to life.
Right.
The key to life is knowing this, that you are going to get what you deserve. Whatever you deserve, you're going to get it. No one was able because no one was a good enough person. No one was righteous enough, disciplined enough, virtuous enough, unselfish enough to finally open up the book that might make you more than a deadbeat dad.
Right.
Might make you more than a gangbanger.
Right.
Might make you more than a slave.
Right.
Keep going.
Neither to look thereon. Verse 5. And one of the elders said unto me.
Now remember, by the Most High's throne, there's 24 elders that sit on his right side. These elders give the Most High his war counsel. They wear crowns on their head. One of those elders said to John, go ahead.
Weep not.
Read it again.
Weep not.
Don't cry. I know it looks bad. It looks bad, doesn't it, right? Even you look at yourself. A lot of you can't get off of weed. How do I know? Because I can hear it in your voice when you call me on the phone with all of your problems. You call me on the phone. I just don't know what to do. I just don't. Some brother called me today. He said, I want my woman. He called me today on the plane. I'm on the plane. As soon as it lands, it rings. He says, I want my money back from my woman. I said, why? He said, because we live together, but she cheating on me. She a hoe. She hoeing on me. And I know about it. And I gave her rent money, and I want it back. And I said, well, did you know she was holding on you before you gave the rent money? Yeah, come. Yes, sir, I did know. So you knew about it. Yeah, I gave you, but you gave her the money anyway. Yeah. And I said, do you live there with her? Yes, I do live there with her. But I want to get a hotel, so I want my money back. And then I said my inevitable question. Let me ask you a personal question, if you don't mind, brother. Do you smoke weed? Do you struggle with a drug addiction? I do. I know it. Because only some drug addict would think that made any sense.
Right.
To take money back from where you're paying rent to stay because you live there with a slut.
Right.
But of course, you want the money back because it's hard to live with a slut.
Right.
It's good when she's your slut, but then Tuesday she's somebody else's, and then you want the money back. But you can't go into a courtroom and say, Your Honor, I paid my half of the rent, but I want it back.
Right.
So I lived there because it's harder living with this slut than I thought it would be. Right. I said, if you weren't so high, all this would be very clear to you. It seems hopeless to you. Right. You're on drugs. Your mother was on drugs. Your father was on drugs. Right. It seems impossible. You got some old nasty addiction online. You got all types of filth that you can't get out of your mind. Who knows what horrible hell you lead you with? You sisters, you just can't stop gossiping about your husband to all of your Facebook buddies and your friends and talking behind his back, and you want to stop, but you need somebody to talk to, and you smoke weed. And that's another reason why you need to vent, because you're high.
Right.
So when you're high or you're an alcoholic, you need someone to vent to, because you're high and you like to talk when you're high and when you're drunk. And it seems like there is no hope.
Right.
Because while you know the glory of the Most High and what he can do for someone, if you can't get over it, then who in the hell can?
Right.
Then it's just like no one can. It seems hopeless. Cry not. Don't cry. I know it seems bad. I know you're poor. I know you're struggling from paycheck to paycheck. I know the cops murder you dead in the street. Don't cry. I'll explain. Keep going.
Count out on kind. Weep not.
Don't weep. Again. Read it again.
Weep not.
Go ahead.
Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, Judea, the root of
Judah.
David.
You later on that. Let me finish this up first. I appreciate it, though. Go ahead.
The Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book.
Give him a hand.
That's right.
No sweat. Let me tell you something, man. You and your weakness, you might not be up to task, but Christ is. He's up to task, God. And he can fix you. He can fix your wife. He can fix your kids. He can fix your weed addiction, your whore addiction, your Facebook addiction, whatever. That's a whole new thing to get addicted to. Facebook. You're addicted to that. Addicted to everything that comes in your life. You might not be up to task, but he is. He can handle it. He's up for it. The Lion of the tribe of Judah hath prevailed to open the book. So now, because of him, the book is open. What's in there? What's in this book? Blow my mind. Go ahead.
Justice.
Give him a hand, but I wanted the precept. You know what's in there? Revelations 13, 9, and 10 is in there. Go pull it. I open the book up now. What do I read? Revelations 13, 9, and 10. Who has it? I'm kind. Go ahead.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
That's in this book. That was locked away. That was gone. No one knew about it. No one ever heard it, but it was in here. You know what so many black people felt today, Hispanics felt today? They felt the warm comfort of knowing that though we're poor and though we are rejected, that we still can receive justice.
Right.
That's what they felt in Chicago today.
Right.
Now, if it felt good, you get off of drugs, you'll feel it every day. Because the white man will pay every day for what he has done to you. Every day. Every day some white man will be carted off to jail or in a hole in the ground. You don't believe it? Let me show you. Someone on your phone, look up the trials, the Nuremberg trials that happened in The Hague. No, not The Hague, happened in Nuremberg at the end of World War II. Just tell me how many they were. World War II lasted 4 years. Now you give me the war crimes trials that happened in Nuremberg at the end of World War II. You'll be reading for 10 minutes. Because that's how many white men were dragged off to be hung for what happened for 4 years of oppression that the white Jew went through. They captured one 2 weeks ago.
Right.
2 weeks ago, they captured a 95-year-old man who was at some labor camp, and a Jewish man hurt his lip at. General Mayak. Listen, someone give me the list. Give me the list. Look up on your phones and give me the list of the trials, the war crimes trials that happened after World War II. And see how long the list is. You could have that 10 times over.
Right.
You'll get the people who murdered Emmett Till.
Right.
You'll get them today. The woman is still alive. The woman who lied and said that Emmett Till was flirting with her.
Right.
She's alive, and she admitted she lied.
Right.
The men who killed those 3 little girls in that church in Mississippi. All of the murders that happened. Wait a minute. Raise your hand if a police officer has ever searched you in an aggressive and horrible and emasculating way. They're going to pay. Don't cry. Don't cry. Weep not. They're going to pay. because the Lion of the tribe of Judah has prevailed to open the book.
Right.
So every cop who has emasculated you in front of your wife, every last one of them who has hurt you, every slave master, every company who has gotten rich off of slavery and the degradation of the 12 tribes of Israel, the book is open now, and they all are going to pay. You get the point. Come on, Ron.
Other one, is that kind of like what the Christian pastor be talking about when you he say he can't interpret, you know what I'm saying, the book of Revelation because it say the book is sealed, other one, like Isaiah 29 and
okay, what the Christian means is that he does not know what to say about the book of Revelations because his white masters have not educated him on it.
Right.
That's right.
That's what he means. When he says it's sealed, what he means is the white preachers who tell him what to say have not told him what to say about Revelations.
Right.
Go ahead.
So it would Isaiah 29 and 11 be a precept?
That's
for
the
that,
perfect
sir?
precept. Is that smooth things?
Sir.
What is that?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of
Hold
a
up.
book.
Where's Yatazak at? Yatazak.
Yeah.
This is LaFrog right here, ain't it? See, I'm wrong. You see that? He's right. I'm wrong. Give him a hand. Come on now, Mayak. I'm thinking he held the LaFrog. I'm drinking the LaFrog. Good water, warrior. Good water. I apologize. It's a lot. Keep going. Go ahead.
Which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed.
Keep going. You want to say, is that what the Christians are doing? Saying they can't read it because it's sealed. Keep reading so I can make sure. Go ahead. And whoever else had their questions, get them on deck, all right?
Verse 12. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned.
That is most definitely it. That's correct. The water. Let me get him right here. Go
Hey,
ahead.
sir, I was speaking to a brother about a couple weeks ago.
Nice and loud, please.
Talking to him about the truth.
Right.
And he was he had great admiration for like the Black Panthers and
Right.
and like what Nat Turner did.
Right.
So I was talking about what Nat Turner did was in the right spirit, but he wasn't supposed to do what he was doing because the scripture say that vengeance is the Lord.
Right.
But because Nat Turner didn't have the truth, was the alternative, the solution for the problems then, was Nat Turner supposed to turn around and teach them to keep the laws?
Yes.
Right.
Nat Turner was supposed to teach them to keep the laws, but Nat Turner couldn't do that because the truth did not exist in the 1800s.
Right.
So Nat Turner couldn't do anything other than what he did. He had no opportunity to do anything else. Why would he teach them to keep the laws when Nat Turner was not in the truth?
Right.
You get my point? You'd have to be in the truth to know that feeling you feel of disgust for the so-called white man's oppression, what do I do with it? If I'm in the 1800s, what do I do? You kill white people, because what else could you do with it? You don't know any better because the truth does not exist.
Right.
You get my point? So Nat Turner did what he had to do. He had no choice but to do what he did. And he did it damn sure a lot better than other preachers.
Right.
Come on.
My question is for John chapter 5, verse 46 and 47.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be used as the laws aren't done away with? I'll read it for you. The book of John, chapter 5, verse 46. For had ye believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. Verse 47. But if ye believe not his writings, how shall ye believe my word?
Give him a hand. That's a perfect precept. That's an absolutely perfect precept for the law not being done away with, and it always has been. Good job up front.
There's a question online on Facebook.
Go.
The brother said, I have a question. How do I deal with my nephew if he is a Moabite? This is my sister from my mother's side. Her son's father is Moab.
Okay. Does the nephew live with you? Do you see the nephew every day? You got to find out that. I'll give it to you in a nutshell. Okay, in some cases like that, this is your nephew, but he's not your brother. But he is your nephew. So what do? If he comes into your house, be kind and nice to the nephew. Don't kick him down a flight of steps. Why? Because he's your nephew. Right? So you be kind to him, polite to him, talk to him, speak to him. He's your sister's son. He's a heathen. Now, he's not your brother. So what does that mean? Don't you ever bring him in this class. Ever. You leave that Moabite at home. But now at home, you can sit down and watch what's the kung fu, what's the animated Dragon Ball Z. Sit down and watch the Dragon Ball Z. You probably know all kinds of secrets and stuff and talk to him. Get some secrets from him. But don't bring him in here. So you get my point. He's your nephew. You give him the honor of a nephew. But don't give him the honor of a brother. You understand? Go ahead.
So, doctor, sir, would it be unlawful to get a boot kiss from him?
Yeah, I would. now, unlawful is not the term. It wouldn't be unlawful. It would be unkind to get a boot kiss from your sister's son. Now, you get my point. Just leave him alone, all right? That's your sister's son. Remember, now listen, once again, which is why we tell brothers, don't have sex with women outside your race.
Right.
Because you do create this kind of dynamic where you got to walk this line. This is your family. That Moabite is your family. He's your nephew, right? He's your nephew and he's a heathen. But he's your nephew. So it's your sister's son. Should you have him kissing your boots? No. Why? Because he's your sister's son. Should his people kiss your boots? Yes. Because he's a heathen. You get my point? It's a line you got to learn how to walk because of the sin of his father. Or in this case, the sin of his mother. You understand? So you get the point, all right? Anything else? We good here? Dawud now. Questions? Any more questions? In the back.
The order of when Christ returns, like the order. So would it be World War III? And in the midst of World War III, Christ is going to return.
Yeah, give it to me in the Apocrypha. What is it? 2nd Ezra? Let's read that. Chapter 13 sounds right. That sounds right. Go ahead. Sisters, you have any questions? Ask them now. Don't ring my goddamn phone all night. I got to get in the gym, man. Come on. Please, call me now. Do it now. This is the call. The call is now. If you have a question, I'll answer it here. Just say it's for a friend.
Right.
We'll answer it right now today. All right. Where are we at now? What are we waiting for? 2nd Ezra, right? 13, where is it at, Captain Cox?
13, I want to say somewhere you can start the 20 blocks.
20, where is it at? Then while they fought one another, they fought when they strove with each other, the Son of God appeared. Ask your question, not for time's sake. While he's finding it, I'll answer it. Go ahead. What was your question about the order of things? Go ahead.
The order of how it's going to be when Christ returns. World War III, Christ returns.
All right. We'll pull it. I'll explain it first, then we'll pull it. All right. Here's what happens. World War III. In the middle of World War III, Christ returns. Christ returns after World War III. World War III will start and finish in the Middle East, right? In the Valley of Decision, which is the land of Israel. That's the Valley of Decision, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? That's where the Middle East will be fought. It'll be fought where Iraq is, and Saudi Arabia, and Jordan is, right? all the nations will come down into that valley and they'll fight each other there. While that battle is happening, Christ will return. While it's happening. You get the point. Then, when Christ returns, there's a battle that happens between Christ and those who were previously enemies. They were fighting each other. They will turn to fight him. There's another battle that will happen between the armies of this world and Christ. During that battle is when the elect are taken up. Is when the salvation happens. During that battle. Con, that's what I'm speaking about. Con. Armageddon is a place. It's a place. All right? Go.
Second Ezra.
See me one more time now.
Chapter 13, verse 29.
Who made these glasses too? They're excellent.
I real did, sir. Stop watching.
Give her a hand. Good job. I appreciate it. Go ahead. Who you got it? Go ahead.
Verse 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth.
He shall come to the astonishment of them. That's the second coming of Christ. When Christ returns, everyone is going to be blown away. It's going to be amazing. Also, that's in the Song of Solomon, the 5th chapter, 5 and 1. They are going to be astonished at your salvation. It's going to be the biggest day that has ever happened, the most amazing event that has ever happened. They're going to be astonished when our King returns. Please. General Haas. Damn right. That's when I was speaking about. Salakia, Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. That's a precept for that verse he just read. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Captain.
Verse 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another.
One shall undertake to fight against another. Russia is going to fight America. They're going back. They're going to be turned back into a warlike posture against America. China is going to fight America. France and Germany, the European Union, they are going to fight one another. You see Brexit happen over there in the UK. Europe is preparing to go to war. The European Union, before the European Union, what did you have? World War II. That's what you had before the European Union. Before the UN. Before NATO, what did you have? World War I and World War II. They love to fight each other. Oh, those old white countries. France loves to fight Germany. My God. France and Germany had a 100-year war.
Right.
They hate each other. Then at the end of World War II, they formed the European Union. Then they started to use one common form of currency, the euro. And everybody thought peace was going to reign on the earth. Then what happened? Brexit. Then the European Union broke up. England left the European Union. And now they are going to go back to fighting each other the way they always have fought each other. Germany and Spain and Russia and England, they're going to fight each other again, except this time it's the last war, the final war. Keep going.
One city against another.
Come on.
One place against another.
Come on.
One people against another.
Come on.
And one realm against another.
Come on.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass.
When the brother asked about the order of these things. The time shall be when these things come to pass. Go ahead.
And the sign shall happen.
And the sign shall happen. What's the sign? Come on.
Matthew 24 chapter.
The wars and rumors of wars. That's correct. Wars are a sign. You got to watch the news, brother. Combing the news for war, like General YAHANNA does. And Captain Kahan. Anytime any fight happens on the news, Captain Kahan calls me. Somebody shoots a bullet somewhere in Sarajevo. Kahan knows about it. And he calls me because he watches as well as prays. That war is a sign. War between Russia and China and North Korea. Oh my God, all that is just perfect. It's just so wonderful and beautiful. It's salvation. It's a sign of salvation. Keep going.
which I shewed thee before.
Mm-hmm.
And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
Now, when realm fights realm, nation fights nation, city fights city, then shall my son be declared. While they fight each other, Christ returns. In the middle of their fight one to another, I wish we need a big TV in here to play this video, all right? There is a scene in, what is that movie with the aliens and Will Smith? Independence Day. Mayak, you remember this. Back in the 90s, we all piled into a movie theater to watch Independence Day, and we all cheered when the White House was being blown up, and they looked at us like we were terrorists in that movie theater. I remember it so clearly. We were screaming and yelling and pumping our fists, and the movie theater was like, what in the hell? Much like officer, what's this officer's name right here? In the back. Yashamar scared the hell out of the airport today. He came in the airport today and scared them today. Give him a hand. He scared the entire TSA today. I got off the plane. He got warriors all over the airport, scaring white people to death, much like we scared them back in the day going to see Independence Day, cheering for the destruction of our adversary. While our enemies fight each other, Christ returns. He is declared. He comes back. While they're trying to see who's going to rule Iraq and who's going to get the oil, the white man is so grubby. He's petty and grubby. What does he fight over? Money. He's a grubby animal. He fights over, diamonds in Africa and gold here and platinum here and oil here. He's a grubby thief. He's just, picking the pockets of countries. Right. He's just a thief. He's a pickpocket. Christ is going to come back in the middle of his petty nonsense and declare himself ruler of this planet. Right. Keep going.
Verse 33, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in his own land leave the battle they have one against another.
When all the people hear the voice of Christ, when they hear doo-doo, doo-doo, when they hear Gabriel blow that trumpet, and they know, oh my God, we were fighting each other, but there is a superior power that's coming here to rule us all. Read that part again.
Every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another.
Keep going.
And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
You understand that? They're fighting each other, but when they hear him, they will leave their battle fighting each other, and an innumerable multitude will come against him.
Right.
Every nation that has bullets is going to come together to fight Christ, and that's in the movie Independence Day. It's in the movie where they hate each other, but then when the aliens come, they put their petty beefs to the side, and they make peace with each other to fight the invaders. That is directly out the Bible, Captain.
That's why I lost my mind when Trump announced that space force.
Hey, give him a hand. Listen. Donald Trump announced, and Donald Trump, he's so stupid. They giving him the briefings on Christ returning. And anybody who had enough sense wouldn't talk about it in front of the camera. But he, of course, does because he's an idiot. And so he goes in front of the camera and talks about a space military that they are going to start because they are trying to defeat our king. And what does the Bible say about that battle?
Shall be overcome in an hour.
1 hour. That's a 1 hour long war. 1 hour. Anyway, go ahead, Op. Did that answer your question, Op? You good to go. Solid. Next.
Is that a literal hour? That one right there?
No time is literal in the Bible. Just think, 1 hour could be 10 minutes. 1 hour could be a day. 1 hour is this. Damn, it's over already? That's 1 hour. So whatever that means, that's an hour. You get my point? All right, where are we at now? Questions? No more questions. All right, what do I have to bring out today? I think I'm over the time anyway, am I? I think I'm done anyway, right, with the time? Any other questions? Who's on the guard? Who does the announcements? Dr. Zak, who does the announcements? With that, pass the class over to Police Officer Tazadak.
We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the heads to speak to the brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the heads to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21. Malachi 3:8-10 means a tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase to the Lord that the Lord gives to you. Give to the Treasury Department for a teacher. Priest fund, which is a free will offering for a priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, give. All right, see, upcoming holy convocations. Convocation. Upcoming holy convocations is Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication, which is the 25th day in the 9th month. Read Malachi, 1 Maccabees chapter 4, 52-61. If any brother is interested in becoming a trooper in the school, wear all black, boots, pants, shirts, war scarf, or headband. These are the announcements. Abaju, which means to stand. Sar, turn east. This is east. Sar, Wahapakidum. Wapanyahakwadum, which means turn and face the east. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Wadat. Ayah. Shamka. Yahweh. Balak Taba'ah. Ratizakah. Hayah. Asha. Baratizah. Kawah. Hayah. Bashemayim. Nathanawa. Nakal. Dewam. Wasalakanawa. Kabawakanawa. Kabawakanawa. Wala'ah. Taba'ah in the Wa. Banasai in the Wa. ball. I will shine out. Mayak. Rod. Kayak. Makah. Amalakwa. Wahala. Wahatapa. Aman. Say Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sir, you curse salute to the brothers, men of Israel, Mighty Shabbat, Imagine, Rock, Sir, turn to the sisters, men of Israel, Barak, Mighty Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yazmatar, Pat Smith.